Sweeny Murti, WFAN, SNY, Yankees Radio Network on the home of New York Yankee baseball here on 104.5, the Team ESPN Radio in Albany. Roger Weiland, Chris Honorado, Sweeny Murti, Roger in Albany. Good morning, my man.
How you doing, guys?
Good, Sweeny. Thanks for a few minutes. We just threw out the question, was that the best? We'll start here. Is that the best we've seen Tanaka in pinstripes?
Yeah, I think there have been some more overpowering games this first year when he racked up a lot of strikeouts. But, I think a lot of things were working in his favor last night. He's got a team that's been struggling offensively. They were aggressive and swinging early, and they just kept working that. I mean, he had 16 ground ball outs. I mean, this is a guy where, you first came up and saw him striking out 10, 12 guys. 16 ground ball outs was phenomenal. It's watching the contrast between what Tanaka and Chris Sale were doing last night, where Sale's pitch count kept getting all of it because he kept striking everybody out early on, and then watching the Yankees kind of chip away. That was pretty impressive. That felt like a Mike Messina Pedro Martinez matchup. Because that's how the Yankees used to win those types of games, is you'd get Messina throwing that kind of game, and somehow the Yankees would manage to look overpowered and still chip away against Pedro to win a game at times, and that was quite an impressive victory.
All right, so a 13-7 start here for this Yankee team. Sweeny, you've been following this team for a long time. We knew what the expectations were kind of going into this year. What would you say after a 13-7 start? Are you surprised?
Yeah. I mean, 13-7. I'm not surprised. I mean, if you told me they were going to be 18-2, yeah, I'd have been surprised by that. I think, and if you're telling me that they're going to, be a game out of first place in August, then yeah, I'll be surprised by that. They've gotten some guys get off to really good starts. The fact that Severino has pitched pretty well, and you saw him the other night too pitch really well against the Red Sox, and that they've gotten some really good starts over the 4 and 5 spots. That Pineda has put together a couple of really good starts. That's what's keeping the Yankees where they are right now. I think the way they kind of manufacture runs in different ways, that's a little surprising or pleasantly surprising. I don't know. I try to think about whether you're surprised by what's happening or not. But I think you understand that this is just you're playing 20 out of 160 so far. So there's still a long way to go. The Yankees are a really good offensive team, which I'm not sure I believe there would be as good of an offensive team at this point. And that starting pitching has been fantastic.
Hey, Sweeny, Chris Honorado up here in Albany with Roger as well. I'm looking at a great stat you tweeted out last night. Yankees starters Severino and Tanaka pitched 16 innings at Fenway Park without allowing an extra base hit. That's incredible. But I want to ask you about some reinforcements coming to this Yankees lineup now. Didi Gregorius expected back today. In what capacity exactly? Do they expect him to be in the starting lineup immediately?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's coming back tonight to be the starting shortstop. The interesting part will be where you put him in the lineup. You're adding an extra left-hand bat into the lineup. So splitting up the lefties in the lineup becomes a little bit more challenging. It's a good problem to have, obviously, because Didi's the guy you want back. The opening day lineup had Jacoby Ellsbury batting fifth, which is probably where Didi would have been batting if he had been healthy. Greg Bird was third. Ellsbury was fifth. We've seen Ellsbury back clean up a couple of times. And now you kind of wonder, Bird hasn't been back in the 3-hole yet. With the extra lefty bat coming in, you're kind of wondering where you go to split them up. I mean, my idea right now is probably Gardner 1, Ellsbury 3, Gregorius 5, and Bird 7. He hasn't, Greg Bird hasn't really taken off yet. And until he does, I doubt Girardi will throw him right back up into the 3 spot where he started the year. That's kind of where I think he's going to go with splitting up the lefties at this point. But Ellsbury either 5 or 7.
Sweeny Murti, WFAN, SNY, Yankees Radio Network. We are the home of Yankees baseball here on 104.5
Sorry,
team.
I think it's Ellsbury either 3 or 7 with DD5. Sorry.
All right. Well, you can update that. No problem, Sweeny. What's the update on Gary Sanchez?
Sanchez is going to start playing rehab games next week, which means you can fast forward that and say he could be here about a week after that. I would think by this time next weekend we're talking about which game Gary Sanchez is getting into, and that's a good thing for the Yankees. You know, they lose next weekend. They go to Wrigley Field and start playing. They play 5 interleague games in that road trip, Chicago-Cincinnati, which means you lose the DH, which means that Holiday's out. So if you get Gary Sanchez back in the lineup while Holiday sits again, that's an important thing for this team. You know, I'd say this stretch here that they're on right now is very important because the division games are playing. Baltimore for 3 here, and then Toronto. Toronto's obviously been struggling. You'd like to keep it that way if you can. I think the division games are big. You know, I heard Aaron Judge say it the other day when I asked him about it, and I was kind of amazed and pleasantly surprised by the maturity he showed in answering his ways. You can't win a division in April, but you can lose one in April. So you have a stretch of 9 division games. Now it's 8 because of the rainout. But you had a stretch of all these division games this week where you had a chance to make sure that you stayed near the top. And that continues tonight with the 3 against first-place Orioles.
How impressed have you been with Aaron Judge? And then how about a quick comment on this Jordan Montgomery young man who will pitch on Sunday, 101, 3.78 ERA. But in a lot of ways, I've been very impressed with him.
Yeah, Montgomery's just going to keep, you really hope that you keep getting good starts from him and that, I don't think you dream that he's going to take the rotation spot and make 30 starts here. I think you hope that, okay, can you get 10 or 12 good starts out of him? And if he falters at all because he's still young, then you have the depth to go fix that, replace him, and move on a little bit. Judge is a pretty special player, and the thing that stuck out to me after you guys saw the play where he tumbled into the stand,
yep.
And I think you've seen some other plays that he's made in the outfield, running down some fly balls, some of the throws that he's been able to make. I think when you see a guy that's that big, you just think, okay, this guy just swats home runs. He's a pretty impressive athlete. And while his reputation came as being a power hitter for the size he is, and we've seen that play out, I'm actually quite impressed with how the other facets of his game, the base running, the ability to play the field at a pretty good level, those are things that I knew I was told he could do, but when you watch it every day, executed at the big league level, you get an appreciation for his athleticism and what that really means, not just being a guy who looks like he should be playing defensive end and happens to hit a home run.
Well, listen, 13-7, good start by this Yankee team. It is very, very early, but if you're a Yankee fan, you're looking out there and seeing some pretty good stuff happening on the field. Let's see if it continues. Sweeny, thanks for a few minutes here on Big Board Sports in Albany.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me.